Alrighty then, so this masterful concoction from the Awesomeness Alchemist is mainly for, because this is what I'm dealing with, and hey, you might as well share it at my stage of development, and then you can use it and do whatever you want with it. So, it's mainly for a reproductive system, but for detoxification, because I got a lot of, that's olive oil that's going in, because I've got a bunch of mold, black mold that I'm dealing with, and it seems to be an environment that comes from the reproductive system and the sacral area. So I need to clean it out. So what I do like to do sometimes, if I go for detox, I like to do a nourishing one at the same time with the nutrients and minerals required to do it. But also sometimes I'll go for nurturing and nourishing, and then other times I'll do it for more for detox, which does have nurturing and nourishing aspects because you're using these things, but it just depends on what I'm going for. So olive oil, cheap, $35, 4 liters, as your carrier oil or your dispersant. So once it's in your intestines, it's naturally going to go to the liver and the organs and the rest of the body. And some castor oil, because it's a deep level cleanser, ridiculously amount of benefits and rather potent, so I'll use a reasonable amount of that, and that will provide it's cleansing and nourishing and takes things into the cell, and also does heaps more benefits that I didn't do the research to remember or more. Anyway, so what I'm also putting in there is a bit of shilajit, one of my faves. Anyone who knows anything about nutrition and detoxification and will rave about shilajit because it is ridiculously beneficial. Highly recommend putting it in your body. And it is water soluble, even though it's a resin like this. So that will transport all of the nutrients and minerals directly into the cell for maximum cellular rejuvenation. What happens when you get cellular rejuvenation? Your body gets a bucket load better. Your spirit develops, your cells vibrate at a higher rate because they now have the nutrition to do it. Big advantage. And I'm going for some iodine drops. So this is potassium iodide from Bioceuticals brand. Is a good naturopathic brand we get from the health food store. They go Vitas usually, but you can find it in the discount chemists as well. Iodine, feel free to get onto that, because if you haven't had an iodine, well, pretty much everyone's iodine deficient on the planet, because that's what the environment we're in has done with all the different heavy metals and mold and fungus and things like that. And of course, so we're going for reproductive system. I'm going for a bit of zinc oxide drops. That's going to nourish and transport it to that particular area and deal with any nutritional deficiencies. So that is gone in. A little bit of cinnamon for maximum absorption, a little bit of sweetness, because, well, could you do with some sweetness in your reproductive system? Yeah, okay. Because for mine, I'm finding there's a lot of fire and inflammation in the area because, well, let's think about it. In the bottom 2 holes where stuff comes out, that's where the disease grows from, and also where there's a lot of inflammation because, hey, we move from those areas. And there's a significant effect on where our thoughts are coming from and where they come out. So, like, most people don't realize where they're projecting from in their body, and they've just got issues and stories. So if you can deal with the cause of the issues and stories, especially in the reproductive system and in the blood, in the colon, then where most of the growths are that are causing all the diseases and problems you've ever come across on the planet. Cause, effect, deal with it, solution. Let's expand and grow as a result, shall we? This one, NAC, N-acetylcysteine, is the precursor to glutathione, so the main detoxification molecule to clean out the reproductive system. Also amazing for liver enzymes, because your glutathione comes from using NAC and your liver to detox. also comes from animal products most of the time. In fact, almost all. And that, oh, by the way, that makes organ meats a great idea if you can absorb them well. We're going to use some organic turmeric oil because I figured, hey, colon and reproductive system could do with some anti-inflammatory benefits, because then you're going to perform better in the bedroom and everywhere you go, because hey, your hormonal system comes from these areas, or from the reproductive system mostly. And what I'm finding as well in the last week and the last couple of months as well, as my body is focused more on removing the tension and along the spine around the sacral joint, which therefore is the controller for the sacral area and reproductive and urinary tract areas, then I'm getting more creative, I'm getting more charismatic, I'm getting more tact and diplomacy, which is something I've always been sorely desiring and lacking. And therefore, and the creation and the creativity comes along with like ridiculous amounts of energy that I've always got standard procedure, but not everybody else has that, it seems. So this one is essential oil is oregano, so super potent, major detoxifier, and that's going to clear up the mold big time and help with inflammational areas as well. This one here is ashwagandha essential oil, brilliant adaptogenic properties. So I've always, as soon as I started researching herbalism and herbs and nutrition and things, then if only it would come out easily. Alright, I'll deal with that. Then adaptogenic properties, they allow you to deal with the stresses of your body and therefore the stresses in your internal and external worlds more, and be more adaptable to them. So you don't have to react emotionally, you just deal with it because you've got adaptogenic herbs that have dealt with a lot of your emotional stuff that you don't really like about yourself, that sort of thing. So primary detox here from BioRay, big fan of this one. So it's a tincture, so therefore it's going to be better utilized in the oil. And this one's got micronized chlorella, some probiotics, a whole bunch of eleuthero root, agaricans, mushrooms, milk thistle, red root, turkey tail mushrooms, schizandra berry. So a lot of adaptogenic properties in most of those. So that's definitely going in abundance. We'll load that up. Because, and this one's going to go for, it's heavy duty detox, but it's going to go for heavy metals. Oh, there we go. Removes toxic heavy metals and chemicals, support adrenal function and detox pathways in the liver. Amazing. Because what I found is, because heavy metals are essentially the food for fungus, parasites, and mold and moss and mildew and these things, then having that as a part of this concoction will give you the resources to clear up that area, so then you can get nervous and immune system further down in your circuitry as you learn and grow and get rid of the gunk. Then you keep getting better. And when the humans is essentially, or generally the non-humans, are getting worse on a daily basis for their choices, you get better from your choices. It does create a polarity, but it's a great position to be in. Okay, and this one here in this golden, it is a golden ticket to your personal development, your spiritual development, your growth, your level of Love.ability, and your conscious awareness. Big time it is, because it's called praziquantel, which is an anti-parasitic properties and chemicals formula. So that one, you can see a bit of powder going in. And because when you look at the locations, the general locations, because they do move and work in harmony with each other, parasite colonies are in the areas where dead tissue is. It's their food, that's how they operate. So, reproductive system, colon, down the legs, because it doesn't have a nervous or immune system connected to there usually, and therefore they can reside there. And also they can communicate between each other in some sort of symbiosis to essentially control the host. are we all in control of our daily lives? Like, you know, do people have, you have your abundance sorted of the things that you want to do, you know yourself, you have your purpose and you're clear and on track with that. It's not so easy to do. I'm still constantly working on it. So then these sorts of things, the parasites that are going to cause, remove the distractions and find out your true self and who you actually really are. So into the sauce bottle that goes. That's quite the concoction. It's going to work tremendously. And then once it's done, there's a bit of 5mm tubing that you can use from a different enema kit or something like that you used to have, or you can get it from your hardware store. Sits on top here, easily goes into the other end with a bit of lubrication happening, and squeeze away. So that'll probably be enough for 5 doses, and I generally go for a decent amount in there, but go for 100ml each time. Oh, there's more than 100ml there in each. That's a litre, so it's about 600 or 700ml. It might last a little bit longer. So efficient. You know, we've done that in 10 minutes ish with a lot of explaining. It'd be a lot quicker to the video with it, but then we got to learn and share and grow with each other, right? So, detoxificationing the whole body, but mainly in particular because we're putting it into the rear end. It will also allow you to remove the mucus and the parasites and things around that area for a more sexier and shapely bottom. Wouldn't that be handy? And then, of course, getting more nutrients and resources and absorption into that area will allow the nervous and immune system and also the blood flow down to the legs to be improved, because I've got a lot of mold. I've actually got a lot of mold coming out of the skin and the dermis layers and the bottom, below the knees essentially, as my body is just like forcing it out from at all possible angles, because I do lots of super cool things like this, and therefore keep learning and growing and absorbing maximum nutrition, like 10 to 100 times more than your average, because you're putting it all in and you're doing it in the base where it can absorb where all the diseases are located. So lots of amazing detox there, parasites, fungus, all sorts of mold, mildew, and lots of nourishing. Yeah, that's a fantastic combination. Giddy up! Awesome alchemy! Job done.